She just came off the best hard-court run of her life. Back-to-back round of 16 finishes at Indian Wells and the Miami Open. Two of the most brutal, unforgiving draws on the entire tour. She did not just survive those tournaments, she bullied veterans twice her experience off the baseline and sent them packing before they ever had a chance to settle into a match. And now, fresh off the hardest stretch in the sport outside of the Grand Slams, Alex Eala walks onto clay. Her surface, the one she was not introduced to, the one she was forged in. Because here is what the scorecards from the Sunshine Double do not tell you. Hard courts are not even Eala's best surface. They are not where she was built. They are not where she was engineered. But they are just where she chose to show everyone she belongs. And she still tore that draw apart like it owed her something. So the question sitting in every locker room right now is terrifyingly simple. If she did that on hard courts, what happens now that she is back on clay? The answer is waiting in Linz, Austria. And it is going to be brutal. The 2026 Upper Austria Ladies Linz Open did not stay the same for its 35th anniversary. The organizers made a structural decision that changed everything about this tournament. They tore out the hard courts entirely, hauled 100 tons of crushed red clay into the city's design center, and rebuilt the playing surface from scratch. A temporary 30,000-seat center court dropped into the middle of Linz, engineered to host something that has never happened at this event before. And in stepping onto that freshly laid dirt, as the 6th seed, carrying the kind of momentum that takes most players years to build, is Alexandra Eala, the first Filipino woman to reach this level of the WTA Tour. She is not here to participate. She is not here to build experience. She is here to win. Standing across the net from her is Julia Grabher, 29 years old. Austrian, this is her backyard, literally. Her hometown crowd, her home soil, her moment to become the story that shocks the entire draw and sends a young superstar home early. But here is what that crowd does not know yet. Eala was not introduced to clay like most players are. She did not slowly develop a clay game over years of junior tournaments, cautiously learning what the surface asks of you. She went to the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. She lived there. She ground through training sessions designed by the greatest clay court mind the sport has ever produced. She ran drills built specifically to manufacture the kind of game that suffocates opponents on this surface. The relentless depth, the heavy topspin that sits up and kicks, the ability to slide into a defensive position and come out throwing offense in the same motion. She wasn't taught clay, she was forged in it. And Grabher is about to find that out the hard way. Now, we cannot dismiss what Grabher brings to this match. She reached a career-high ranking of 54 in the world back in 2023. She currently sits at 87. In the weeks leading into this tournament, she spent time grinding through WTA 125 clay events in Turkey, not chasing ranking points, but specifically sharpening her clay game for this exact stage. She is a gritty, intelligent defensive specialist who knows precisely what this surface demands. She knows how to extend rallies, disguise pace, throw in frustrating high balls that sit up awkwardly, and make her opponent feel like the court is slowly getting smaller around her. But here is the truth about where Grabher actually stands right now. That is not a seasoned veteran holding her ground on home clay. That is a player whose window is closing. A player who knows that this draw, this crowd, this moment is one of the last times she will have every single advantage aligned in her favor at once. She knows it. And that quiet desperation is going to shape every single decision she makes from the first game. Everything Grabher does in this match, she does hoping the crowd finishes what her racket cannot. And that crowd is going to be deafening. To 30,000 seats, Austrian flags, a hometown hero facing a foreign opponent on a temporary court dropped into their own city. In professional tennis, that environment is not atmosphere. It is a weapon, a carefully constructed, emotionally engineered weapon. Every Eala era gets a standing ovation that shakes the building. Every Grabher winner lands like a championship point. The noise does not stop. It does not reset between points. It stacks and it builds until the player on the wrong side of it starts to feel it in their legs, in their decision-making, in the fraction of a second before they pull the trigger on a ground stroke. Grabher's entire game plan runs through that crowd. Survive the early games, keep rallies long. And let the Austrian faithful crank the pressure higher and higher until Eala makes a mistake. and then let the sound do the rest. But here is the part that crowd cannot protect her from. Think about what it actually means when Eala's forehand lands on clay. That ball is not simply going deep, it is generating a level of RPMs, revolutions per minute of topspin, that is a direct product of Nadal Academy engineering. When that shot lands on the crushed brick surface of the Linz center court, it does not bounce forward the way it does on a hard court. It explodes upward. It kicks violently above the shoulder. It forces the player receiving it to suddenly scramble to a position they were not standing in half a second ago and hit from there under pressure while already off balance. That is a fatal biomechanical problem. Then it does not get better as the match goes on, it gets worse. Think about what it means to face that shot for 2 full sets. Grabher gets pinned 3-4 meters behind the baseline. She is not defending from a position of control anymore. She is sprinting side to side just to stay in the rally, hitting up on the ball from above her shoulders, fighting to keep it in the court, hoping it lands deep enough that Eala cannot attack it. And the single moment, she drops one short, Eala steps inside that baseline and ends the point. Clean, precise, down the line, and walks back to the baseline like it was nothing. It is not going to be a grind. It is going to be a systematic dismantling executed with the calm precision of someone who has done this 10,000 times in practice. The Austrian crowd will start loud. And they always do. But something is going to happen inside that arena within the first 5 games of the opening set. The sound is going to start dropping. Not because the fans stop caring, but because they will start to realize. One clean winner at a time. One exchange that ends before Grabher can even set her feet. One game where the score changes before the noise ever gets the chance to build. Until eventually, the silence in that arena hits harder than any roar could. 30,000 people understanding all at once that their hometown hero is being outclassed by a player who was never going to lose this match. And this is not just about the first round, because waiting right now, in the shadows of the second round draw, is Jelena Ostapenko, the 4th seed, former French Open champion, one of the most explosive, flat-hitting, or unpredictable players alive on clay. You do not earn a match against Ostapenko unless you clear Grabher first. You do not get that stage unless you take care of business here. Eala knows exactly what is waiting. Imagine being Ostapenko right now, sitting in that locker room, watching Eala's match unfold on a screen somewhere in the building, knowing that if the young Filipina gets through, and she will, you are next, that the player warming up on the other side of your draw is not nervous, not grinding for confidence, not hoping the moment doesn't swallow her. She is hunting. The run Eala put together across the Sunshine Double was not luck, and it was not a fluke. It was a player announcing herself on the surface that wasn't even supposed to be hers. Now she is on clay, seated 6th in a 28-player draw. And I'm no longer the teenage prodigy the press described as a promising future story, an actual present tense threat to go deep in this tournament. And every player in that draw knows it. Eala is going to walk onto that temporary court in Linz. She is going to hear the noise. She is going to feel the weight of 30,000 people willing Grabher to an upset. And she is going to do exactly what she was trained to do. Build the point, load the topspin, make the ball kick, and wait, patiently and without panic, for the moment Grabher drops one short. The era of waiting for Eala's potential to arrive is over. She is not becoming something. She already is something. And Julia Grabher, through no fault of her own, simply has the misfortune of being the first player standing on clay between Eala and what comes next. This is the kind of moment we track every single week at Sort Pro. The raw analytical truth behind what is actually unfolding inside professional tennis, before the mainstream conversation ever catches up. If you want to be there when the next chapter breaks, subscribe now, because the European clay swing has only just started, and Eala is only just getting warmed up.